now.
The following podcast is brought to you by Inebriated Records.
You know it's a tough job, but somebody's gotta do it. You talk about beating people up. Well, it's a Powder Out podcast, and I hope it's okay, because there's nothing you can do about it, brother.
That's right. Powder. The fame, money, now our own podcast.
It's P.O.P. We're powdered up, we are out of our minds, and we are taking over wrestling podcasts. We're going to fight, scratch, claw, and maybe even bite you for every view you got.
It's the new way. Is that okay, billionaire boss Brandon?
I think the whole world wants to know one thing about pop. When is it? What time?
You guys know something? I almost forgot something really important. Powder Out Podcast is live right now. I forgot. It slipped my mind.
Welcome everybody to the Powder Out Podcast, or POP. And I am Joshua Lynch with
Our co-host, Michael Bolton.
And always the sexy, long, good-looking beard guy, JP.
Woo!
Yeah.
Come on, we all need to do the best Ric Flair woo right now to start the day.
Woo!
There we go.
Woo!
And tonight we got a special guest. We got somebody all the way from the Kansas City, Missouri Independent League, would you call it? But we have Will Ault with us tonight.
I'm doing good.
How are you doing tonight, Will?
Really nice weekend. Wow.
Good. Yeah. So I know the first question always is so how long have you been doing wrestling, and why did you get it?
I started training about 4 years ago at this point. I found a school here local in Kansas City. It's just in Raytown, the Extreme Wrestling Center, and I started training there because they have a wonderful program that trains wrestlers, referees, and managers. And at that point, I was just not exactly in the best shape of my life, but it was kind of always my dream to become a professional wrestler. And it's like kind of like I didn't want to go live the rest of my life with like a regret, like could I have done it? So it's like I kind of went in with the mindset, I'm not going to be able to do this. Give it a few months, and then I know I couldn't do it. That's not what happened. I ended up just kind of clicking and doing real well at it. And it's just ever since that 4 years going strong, like still one of my favorite things to do is being in front of a crowd.
How long did it take you from training to your first match? Because I want to start training and I don't want to take 2 years and then get a match.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Each school kind of has their own criteria, and there's many schools around North America. And it you just kind of got to Google search, and usually you'll bring up a lot of them. Our particular school here in Kansas City, it took me about 4 months, I think. It just kind of depends on each person's progression. But usually that's part of the training, is getting that first match in front of a crowd and getting that feel, because there's a lot that goes into that first match that it's an experience by itself.
Oh, I bet it sounds like. So how was your first match though? It only being 4 months after you trained, and then you're thrown in the ring. Was there a big audience your first time, or?
Yeah, The school is actually the sister company of Kansas City Extreme Wrestling, and that's the company I wrestle for. So my first match was with them, and they have kind of an established fan base in Kansas City at this point. So there was a good sized crowd, but in the moment, I definitely couldn't remember it in the moment just because everything was going through my head, like stage fright, trying to remember everything that I'm supposed to do. Oh, am I still there? Okay, there. I think it messed up for a second. But yeah, just trying to get through that match was kind of hectic. I think I did okay. Of course, I had my family there to help like cheer me on, so that's always helpful. But just getting through it was kind of a struggle because there's just so much going on that you need to be involved. You're good.
Apologies there. So you said you've been doing it 4 years now, right?
Yes.
When did you feel like, hey, I finally have the confidence, the know-how to get out there and, put on a great show? Like, was there like a pivotal match where you're like, okay, this is why I'm doing this and I'm confident now? Like, have you had that yet? Or
yeah, I've had a couple of moments kind of like that. Like one that was a little bit like that was kind of my first time traveling out on my own. I was in Denver, Colorado, and just my first time being in front of a crowd there. Absolutely nobody knows me in the audience at all, and wondering if all this stuff I'm learning in the Kansas City area, where it's my hometown, if these people are going to care, and getting out in front of the crowd and then reacting and like seeing the training working. It was like that was a little bit. But then when I came back to Kansas City from that trip, because I was out in Denver, Colorado for about 8 months. I came back to Kansas City, and I think it was the second show I was back. We were wrestling at the Shriner Auditorium here in Kansas City, and I that night I turned heel by attacking. Me and my tag team partner attacked these other members of the team that we were on, and for some reason, just that little bit of freedom, because the entire time since I started, I was a good guy, and I thought I was good at being a good guy. Getting that freedom to really mess with the crowd and get them to hate me, for some reason, that was like really what stuck with me, and it's part now of what I would do, just interacting with the crowd.
Now, this is a question I ask everybody in the wrestling industry.
Yes.
Now, what's your opinion on hardcore or death match? Would you ever dabble in it?
That's a good question, because I consider those two very different subgenres of wrestling.
Oh, 100% they are.
Oh yeah. Hardcore to me, hardcore. There's more wrestling in it. There's more storytelling, I think, in it. And I've done a little bit of hardcore, so I definitely would do that. Deathmatch, I'd love to watch it, but I would never try and be it. I actually, one of the companies I wrestled for in Colorado, their company was a deathmatch company, and my first match was like, hey, do I have to do that stuff? He's like, no, you don't have to do that. We got other guys to do that. Okay, thank you.
Nice.
Have you ever tried doing it? Like, if you had an ultra violent spot, would you say back out or more money?
You say if there's money for it?
Yeah, like if you were to get paid to do the ultra violent spots.
Oh, absolutely. Money always talks. Like price is right. Hey, for 10, 15 minutes, I'll get the shit kicked out of me with barbed wire and glass tubes. Man.
I don't know if this has been asked or not, but how long have you been like a wrestling fan then?
I would say probably since the womb. My mother would tell me stories when I was older about when she was pregnant, her and my father walking down to Harley Race's school and I guess they had big glass windows that you could see the ring and see the wrestlers training. She said they just sit there and like all of them would watch the wrestlers train, and like I really only got to watch wrestling in the early '90s before like me and my brothers would beat each other up too much that my mom said no. And then just getting back into it, and like right around when the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian and Dudley Boys, that was my stuff when I got back into it. Like you couldn't keep me and my cousins from jumping off of anything.
Do you remember like your very first match that you watched, or did you go to any events?
I don't remember very early on. Like I remember like being very young, and our family going to we got 4 seats to a WWF show, and I just remember my little brother was so little. This big tall guy, like what we didn't even know him. He's just seated next to us. Just picks up my little brother and puts him up on his shoulders because somebody's coming out, and we're all pumped up and excited. But yeah, I think once I got back into it when I was older, it was like I said, it was I think it was just randomly me, my brother, and my cousin like flipping through channels, and was it SmackDown at the time, and it happened to be like the Hardy Boys, and, like seeing these wild guys just flying around and all this crazy stuff. Like, man, we want to do that.
Who do you think is the next person to step in the forbidden doors?
Step through the forbidden doors. Well, I know I've been hearing rumors of Daniel Bryan, but like I kind of don't want everyone like to kind of go to AEW, because like I feel like Impact would be good for a lot of places. Like a lot of guys that are getting let go, have the chance to go there. But I think I'm waiting for Braun Strowman to show up, because I think the easy money would be to put Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan back together in AEW.
Okay. For your goals, where do you see, yourself going? Like, do you see yourself going to like NXT or somewhere like that, or just staying in the indies, or where do you see yourself going, say, like the next 5 years?
I'm just kind of realistic with myself at this point. Like I'm kind of older to start. I'm 32. And so like the bigger dreams I'm not worried about, but one of the things right now that I'm involved with is I'm also a trainer now for the Extreme Wrestling Center that I trained at. So one of my things right now is just I'm loving teaching kids just starting their journey, getting them ready to go these big places. And so now that we have students now in NXT, we have students in AEW, like seeing those kids move on. And then I also now have my children that show a little bit of interest. And if they get into it like that, I think that would be my dream in 5 years, to be wrestling and like having matches with my children. Like that'd be.
Now, I'm an indie guy. I love independent wrestling in Ontario and Canada. I came from Hamilton in the independent scene there. Would you ever get yourself in a heated argument with a fan over a sign?
It depends on how he, like, if the guy is really, really mad, like then it's like, okay, time to walk away. But if this is entertaining and like I know this guy's not gonna do anything, he's getting excited for like me playing with his sign, like I'm cool with it. Because that's like I said, I my favorite thing as a wrestler is my fan interaction. Is this podcast okay to cuss?
Yeah.
Okay. The last match I just had, I was up in Illinois, and I went out there and was playing the heel. One of the things that happened was as I was walking out, the sound went out. So anytime that happens, like the crowd's like looking at the engineer guys, wondering what the fuck's going on and why I'm getting in the ring, and they're not even paying attention to what I'm doing. So like for 5 solid minutes, there's nothing. So to fill that time, I just start shit talking to the audience, and I'm looking around and stuff, and like pointing out specific people and engaging them. And like I'm looking at like this, there was like one lady that I singled out in the top row and stuff, said whatever I said to her, and she's just screaming at me, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I'm just like, oh, I just eat that up. Like like when you have the crowd reacting to you like that, it's like so much adrenaline just rushes through your veins. It's awesome.
Is there anybody that you would like to face? Like, do you have any dream matches?
I would like. There's so many guys. Like, I just met Christopher Daniels on a show, and I got to sit around a lot when he was talking about different stuff with the wrestlers, and just his brain works like so amazing. Like, I would love to wrestle Christopher Daniels. You were talking about the hardcore stuff. I'd love to wrestle Tommy Dreamer because I love old school ECW. It's just a lot of times, just as I meet people in the wrestling business, like as you make friends in the locker room, like it's like this guy's cool. I really want to put on like a good show with him. That's the list is always expanding that way. The more and more wrestlers I meet.
What do you think of crossovers, like stand-up comedians going into wrestling, or like a rapper jumping in the independent scene? Would you beat the fuck out of a rapper, or would you let that person do their pro wrestling and chill out?
I might have a little fun with them. I'm known to be a little stiff to say with some of my punches. Because I do I like the old school mentality of paying your dues and going through schools. Just because a lot of times when these guys get in there, it looks sloppy. You got to do a lot to protect them. And it's like I like to say there's places for it. Like one of my favorite promotions is Lucha Libre and Laughs. Theirs is usually a wrestling show, and then there's comedians on stage commentating an awesome show, and like little combo shows like that, and like Lucha Vavoom in California. That's a burlesque show and wrestling show. Like those are concepts I love. I love to make, book shows that are mixed content like that.
What would you say is
give them out of wrestling though? Like on the side, they can see.
Who got you? So who got you into wrestling?
I mean, who got me into training, or who got me into liking pro wrestling?
Well, I guess both. Yeah, who got you into liking wrestling and then pursuing it as a career and then getting into training? Yeah. So a two-part question.
Well, like I said, growing up, me and my younger brother, we're only a year apart, and so like we did everything together, and we were always fighting. So, like once we actually started watching wrestling, like we would always like try and emulate moves and stuff. That's where my finishing move is a sit down power bomb. And I always joke that I've been doing the power bomb since I was 10 years old to my little brother.
Right. Yeah.
So that was like always growing up. It was kind of the dream, like maybe me and my brother would go into training together, and then eventually my best friend in high school, me and him really wanted to do it, and we just never really found a place to train, I think. So I kind of let it go for a while, and then like I said, right around 4 years ago, just was kind of just in a in-between place in my life and really needed to find a place to go, and just happened to see something about the school in Raytown, and then I looked up who owned it. And the guy that owned it, I had actually met when I was 17 years old. And at the time, me and him just, for some reason, didn't click. And so like that was like one avenue of wrestling that just got thrown away. So this time, seeing he had this school now, I messaged him, and me and him got to talking, and it was both of us are older now, wiser, and everything. And like it turned out like now he's what David Catton, he runs the Extreme Wrestling Center. He's one of my best friends that I've met through. And like there's so many guys now that I get to say that, because wrestling is such a family community. Like the boys are looking out for each other in the locker room. It's amazing the people that you meet. So it's like really just once everything clicked, my like finding these new family and everything was really pulled me into the world. Yeah.
Mike, describe your match. Describe your match against Will. Where
is it? what's the story and who wins. So you against Will,
Oh,
what's the storyline, where is it, and who wins?
Okay. I would say the Lucha Underground Academy. What kind of match? Death match.
ooh. He already knows I don't want it.
And who would win? Some pro wrestling is fake, some pro wrestling is real. This one, 2 men go out, 1 man comes in. So I don't know who wins.
Oh. Uh-oh. I was gonna say I've been told I wrestle like Bubba Ray and I'm missing it, and Kevin Owens. So if there's a table involved, I'm definitely going over.
Oh yeah.
Right. What would you say is your, like, right now, your favorite match you've had or most memorable?
My most memorable match probably was I think man, I was gonna say that there's 2 that really pop into mind, and they're like one right after the other. The first one, it really was it was our big year-end show, sort of our WrestleMania, and I was in a Fatal 4 ladder match to get a contract to face one of our champions.
Oh, nice.
And that match pretty much turned into a TLC free-for-all. That was the match where I got shotgun kicked a chair into my face and got split right between the eyes. And there was a crazy one of our wrestlers, he threw a guy out of the ring, threw a table on the outside. I powerbombed one of the guys off of the top of a ladder, and then I climbed up and won the contract.
Nice.
So that was super exciting, just because it was my first time getting hardcore. Not the funnest. Definitely got a lot of bumps and bruises from that. But the match following that was probably my most memorable match. It was my Metro title shot against Jay Savage. Me being probably the most proud reactive heel in our company, and Jay Savage being probably the top face of our company, going head to head. Because I've always said, if you went to any of our live shows, there was 2 people the crowd always knew. It was Hard Luck, that's my character, and Jay Savage. Those are the 2 names you would hear. Those are probably the only names, other than one other guy from outside of our company, that you would hear every show getting chanted. So the 2 of us going together, like the energy, and especially wrestling, Jay Savage, like he's such an athlete. That match, I just eventually just like feeling the energy and feeling there's some of the crowd that wants me to win just because they've seen kind of my journey, and then like those people that love to hate heels, feeling the energy change by the end of the match, that entire crowd wants Jay Savage to win, and then he finally does. That's probably just, like I said, the biggest reaction I've gotten from a match, and that's what's so memorable to me. Just those 2 kind of combined, like I said, just really with a lot of energy for the time.
It's really cool.
Have you ever had any title belts, and did you get to keep them, or did you have to give them back to the promotion after the event?
No. I've not got the chance. I've not got the chance to hold any titles yet. I know for KCXW, there's always a chance. We've got 2 titles there that both are right now being held by gentlemen that I've wrestled before, and would definitely do again if the title was on the line. But it just kind of keep hold of the title, or the promoter holds it. That's just kind of depends on the company. I have seen some of my wrestler friends walk around with titles. Jay Savage himself that I mentioned. It's almost like you can't see that guy anywhere without that title. Constantly he's at the gym and posting on his Instagram from the gym. There's him, his bag, and there's the time. So it's kind of always a reminder that he's got it and I want it.
So I'm not really for sure. Are you currently wrestling still, or are you just a trainer now, or a little both?
I do both. I train there at Extreme Wrestling Center. And then when we have shows, I do continue to wrestle. It's just right now we're still recovering from COVID, so we're trying to find venues. And so far, the one we do have lockdown is well, I can't say we don't have that announcement. So.
So are you looking to keep going with your in-ring career, or are you looking to slow that down and just keep? Because I know you said you like to train other wrestlers and stuff. Like, are you looking to still go forward, or are you just looking to maybe kind of in that part and then just train, and then just help out like in the back, or?
I don't really plan on stopping wrestling for a while. Just because it like I said, it's just right now it's one of those things that I live for it. It just the adrenaline rush I get from it. Being interactive with fans, it's definitely something I want and need in my life at this point. So I plan to continue to do both, and that's like ultimately the plan is help build our companies here in Kansas City and continue to do that while also trying to travel and wrestle other companies as well. Because that's really what it is. Like everyone, there's a joke in professional wrestling that no one ever really retires.
Yeah, never say never. Yeah,
just because it's really like. And it's not just professional wrestlers. I think really it's anybody who's performed, like comedians as well. Probably if you get that crowd reaction, it's addictive. And like getting a crowd to react to something you are creating in front of them and putting your heart into, and they just love it. It's addictive, and you can't get away from it.
Pop-up question. What's the best wrestling movie? And which one is the worst?
Oh, so is that it has to be about wrestling, or it has a wrestler, or does it include like Mr. Nanny that has a wrestler in it?
I would
I'd
say
best wrestling movie. I'd say wrestling based kind of movie.
Oh yeah. I would say best is my best would probably be oh shit, actually it got kind of changed up there. I was gonna say it was The Wrestler, but now I think the David Arquette documentary, like that was amazing.
I heard that was really good. Yeah. Mine probably has to be. It's just because it's funny. Ready to Rumble. I love that movie. It oozes WCW so much. Yeah, it's so good.
The only thing that about the David Arquette documentary, if Nick Gage would have killed David Arquette, that would have been the best ending for the documentary. Period. MDK all the way.
I remember seeing like the internet video of that, and like no one knew he was doing the documentary, and everybody was like, "What the fuck is David Arquette doing wrestling again?"
Right.
Like he just got stabbed in the throat.
What about worst wrestling movie?
Oh man. Man, I'm blanking on wrestling movies right now. Because I'm trying to remember. No, that just had a little bit of wrestling, and I was gonna say that didn't one of the ICB movies have to do about wrestling? The Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah. They had a full documentary about their JCW promotion.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, just anything with the Insane Clown Posse, I imagine is pretty
right. Cool. I don't know. I mean, what is it like? Nacho Libre, maybe? I know that had some wrestling in it.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was funny too.
For me, mine hasn't been released, but it's the Benoit documentary that's coming out soon. Maybe.
Like as the worst or the best?
The best.
That's
Uh,
is that as who's putting that out?
Vice, apparently. They announced it years ago, but who knows where it is.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, if it's Vice, it's definitely gonna be good. Their Dark Side of the Ring series is amazing.
oh, that was amazing. Yeah. So, you like being more a heel then, or the baby face?
I try to think I can do both. It's been a while since I've been a face. But definitely, like I said, heel. Well, I know I can do both just because, to me, one of the easy targets at a wrestling show to get to react to me and get anybody to react to me is messing with kids. And like,
Yeah.
I'm a dad, so I wouldn't say I've always been good with kids, but it's just something about the way like constantly I'm just always like making faces at kids and doing whatever. So like I know little things will set kids off, and automatically if you get the kids mad, then like their parents are mad at you too, and then like other parents are like, "Hey, you messed with that guy's kid." It's so much fun, and then you can do like stupid little things, just like the fun little games. Like one of the matches that I had, I was hiding on the outside of the ring, and like so I'd be like trying to hide behind a post, and like obviously I'm not hiding from anybody, and like all the kids are like screaming, I'm like right there, and I'm yelling at them to shut up, they're gonna see me. It's like just stupid little things is just constantly just fun at a show.
Now, would you ever break kayfabe if kayfabe is even a thing?
I'd say there's parts of it that I'd say there's parts of it still that I would protect. But when it comes to like fan interaction, stuff like that, like breaking character.
Like that's what I mean. Fan interaction, breaking kayfabe.
Is kayfabe even around? I mean, there's so much with the internet, and everybody knows everybody.
That's the thing with the wrestling business and stuff is like, that's a lot what we see. Is a lot of people come in and like they think they know, and then like you don't really know, and it's like it's always like little twists on kind of what you'd expect. That's usually what I've come to know as kayfabe. But when it comes to like character, usually like there's like a little wink and stuff there, because like one of my favorite things there is like saying these things to these kids, or saying these things like anytime it's like if I see a fan that's like I know is gonna react, that's when I get it. And like there's always like that little back and forth, like super fans, like getting them to react and stuff. And there's like a little wink there, like that there's a little kayfabe like breakage there, I guess. I've only made one kid cry, and that like I felt terrible.
Do you guys have any like super fans like come to every show?
Yeah, we have a pretty steady fan base. There's guys we'll always see. One of the favorites, if he sees this, is a guy named Rhino. He's kind of a staple of wrestling, and he always brings this shopping cart full of like props. He's sort of like ECW hardcore era style, where like he just wants something to happen. He's like, here, hit him with this. Like it's just full every time. And he's got a mannequin he's got painted up named Todd. Todd always gets involved somehow.
Now I'm going to try out a new segment with you guys, if that's cool, if you will.
Yeah.
I just got the okay. I can ask you anything I want.
Okay.
Oh.
That's terrifying.
So, I'm a Benoit fan.
Okay.
I want to ask you two things. What's your opinion about Benoit as a wrestler? And that's it. No personal bullshit, just pure technical.
Okay. I kind of understand where you're going. Like I can say Benoit's work like is one of on par with Eddie Guerrero, almost untouchable. Like his technical work, his intensity, is just fantastic. And definitely like knowing a little bit, seeing some of the documentaries they put out before what happened, seeing like there's a respect there as a performer that when he messed up, it really got to him. Like that's passion and stuff, wanting your work to be so perfect, like, and beating yourself up about it if like something goes wrong. Like that's commitment and mad respect there from anybody that does it.
I now see, as a Canadian, Benoit is always going to be in my heart. He's always going to be in my bloodlines. My family goes way back as being Heart fans and from the Dungeon. My family loves the Dungeon Wrestling Academy. But my next question is for this segment is, if you were to face someone who was juicing, would you rather go out or ask for more money, or just say, fuck it, I'm going to fight you anyways?
Somebody's juicing, you mean using like steroids?
Yeah.
Like as long as I know, like he's not gonna just absolutely destroy me, like I'll absolutely go out with him. And like there's little tests as wrestlers we do with each other, like that protects me, especially like if it's a scenario. And then like my personal philosophy is just if something definitely isn't on the up and up, like if you want to use the term, if somebody tries to shoot on me in a ring, I don't play that. Like the term is professional, and I drop and I get out of there. And if the promoter's got something to say, like he can say it to me. I'm a man. I'm not gonna like. I'm here to perform. I'm not here to like get my like face kicked in for no reason.
Now, are you a receipt giver or a taker?
Receipt giver or taker? I was gonna say take the taker part to me. Kind of already kind of gives the kind of means that I need the receipt. Usually, if somebody's a little stiff with me, I do give a receipt. And then there's also times where, especially when it comes to punches and strikes, some guys are a little heavy, and I've definitely had matches where guy hits me and it's a little salty, and I'm like, okay, pop him back. He's like, hey, are you want to lighten up? And he hits me again, and it's a little bit more. I was like, are you okay? And those have been some of the funnest matches I've had, because they're like, we're both good and we're just gonna go. And you're just like, you got two guys just pounding flesh, like just beating the hell out of each other, and it's super fun. And I've been in locker rooms where like we get to the back and guys are like, what the hell? Like you guys were just killing each other out there. It's like it's
yeah. I was gonna ask, have you ever had like an all-out brawl? But like, it sounds like when you guys do that, you're just like, all right, we're just gonna kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Now, would you ever think about powdering out?
Powdering out? What do you mean by that?
Like, powder out is like when someone, for instance, you're talking a lot of shit, you don't want to do the match, and you just say, peace, I'm going to the back, powdered out. Peace. Oh
yeah. Yeah, no, especially that's one of my favorite tools, because a lot of times when you got somebody like that that's mouthing off, they want to fight, they don't want to match. And my biggest thing is, if it's a match, I get paid. If it's a fight, I'm not getting paid. So I'll definitely powder out and go to the back and like, you want to come to me when you actually have something real, because the term is professional wrestling. Professional gets paid.
Exactly, professionalism right there. Yeah, no, I get. Yeah, I completely respect that. What's the oddest thing that you've had a few like hardcore matches, you've said. What's the oddest thing you've hit somebody with? Like the weirdest thing.
Oddest thing I've hit somebody with. Well, my character, Hard Luck, he's a working man. So I actually carry out a 24-inch pipe wrench to the ring. So I've hit a few people with that. One of my matches, I borrowed a 4-foot-long pipe wrench from the company I was currently working for in my civilian job, and I planned to use that, but it ended up backfiring on me, and I got thrown into it. That throw left an 8-inch bruise on my back, and then at the end of the match, they took that wrench and put it in my mouth and performed a crossface on me until I
Oh.
had to submit.
Ouch. Did it
Now,
break any teeth or what?
I probably chipped one of my tooth and definitely had the taste of rust and oil in my mouth for a while.
now I don't know if you follow WWE or not, because I know I don't.
All right. I don't really watch it that much. I watch probably some of the clips and then sometimes the pay-per-views, probably the big 4 pay-per-views.
Now, this is kind of a controversial question.
Mhm.
Now, in the independent scene, I know for SmackDown on Friday, did you see what Camilla was wearing?
No, I didn't. What was she wearing?
She looked like a fucking stripper from Kansas City, straight out of Strangeville.
Oh, I don't know. Some of our strippers look pretty good.
Now, if an independent diva came out with snatch almost showing and nipples down and just tits out, what would your opinion be? Cover that shit up or go to the ring like that?
Well, honestly, as a salesman, sex sells, and
Yeah.
gotta say it's good for everybody because if guys know that's gonna be at the show, that's ticket sold.
But
And,
is it good for the industry?
Yeah. I mean, if that's their gimmick, I would say.
Like if you're wrestling, if you know you're wrestling more of a child friendly show, you might probably want to cover that up. But definitely if you got one of those bar shows that get wild and crazy, definitely like that's the stuff you want because that's what people are going to buy tickets. It's like, did you see last time that girl was here? Let's go again. Like that's good for everybody.
So, if you were to pick one place in the world to go wrestle, and who and what promotion?
Huh. I think I'd probably want to go to I think probably England. I'm not sure what promotions. I think like probably I think WPW folded, I think, or maybe they still open. But I don't think the promotion really matters. But I think I'd want to have just like a dream match with William Regal. Like he's always been one of my favorite wrestlers. And then just the UK crowds, they're always like super fun. Sometimes they just start chanting random chants that have nothing to do with the match just because they love the match, and I love just silly stuff like that. And then just getting beat the hell out of by William Regal would just be fun.
Now, I'm sorry to cut this off like that, but I think we have to cut this interview a little long, but you know what? It was amazing for having you on, Will Ault.
Right.
If I butchered your name, I'm sorry. I'm bad with that.
No, you're all right.
Real quick,
Any last questions?
Well, real quick, you can put your plugs out there, where you're at, what's going to be next. Have you had any tryouts for any of the big shows yet, or no? Or
not yet. I've been fairly busy with work, but definitely in the future, just kind of see kind of where I stand is always good. Always good to know where you stand in the industry.
do you have any like civilian job now, or?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time driving transit and stuff, and delivery with different companies. And then what was the other questions about?
Okay, so then oh yeah, no, I was just gonna ask like what your civilian job was like, if it was just pro wrestling full time.
I was gonna say I would absolutely, if I could do some avenues of professional wrestling full time, that of course will be the dream. Like to make this, like if this paid all my bills, that would be awesome. But it doesn't. It definitely doesn't right now. So currently, definitely have the civilian job.
Yeah. So no, we appreciate having you on. You can put your plugs out there, where you're gonna be, your social media.
Oh yeah. Definitely check out my my Facebook account for my wrestling persona. It's Hard Luck Hal Rogers. From there, you can usually see links to our wrestling school, the Extreme Wrestling Center. We have tryouts every month there for prospective wrestlers, referees, and managers. We kind of find a place for everybody if we can. And then check us out. We're still trying to come up with shows right now, looking for venues. But I wrestle here in Kansas City for Kansas City Extreme Wrestling. And then coming up, when my schedule clears up, I'm going to be trying a couple other states close by. Seeing about getting to Iowa and Colorado and Nebraska.
Well, hey, if you're ever in Minnesota, let me know. AWF is up here. I know, if you're in Minneapolis or something, let me know. I'm just I'm just a couple states away from you. Yeah, no, it's great to have you on. We appreciate the interview.
Oh, yeah.
Any last thoughts there, Mike?
Yeah, and if you're ever in Toronto or Hamilton, let me know. And I would say message Greektown or Alpha One Wrestling for any events you would like to get on. I am no affiliated with them. I am just a fan of their companies.
Awesome. I'll look them up. All right. But thanks for talking to you guys.
All right.
Peace.
Have a good night then.
All right. You guys have a good night.